Namaskaram to all viewers of Jyotirmarg. Dear viewers, after the Rajasuya, when everything was back to normal, one day Rishi Vyasa arrived at Yudhishtira's court accompanied by his disciples. Yudhishtira, along with his brothers, welcomed Vyasa with great respect and then offered him Arghya and Padya. Later, when Vyasa was comfortably seated, Yudhisthira addressed him and asked about the ill omens like the incident related to Shishupala, which happened during the Rajasuya. Vyasa replied that those omens indicated very destructive consequences over the next 13 years, and that Yudhisthira alone will be responsible for that. Beyond Yudhisthira, the sins of Duryodhan and the might of Bhima and Arjun will lead to the destruction of all Kshatriyas of this world. Towards the end of it, said the Rishi, Yudhisthira will behold the might of that god of gods, consort of Uma, the one with the trident as his weapon, that one who is Neelkantha, as his throat is blue in color, the one who is Rudra, Ugra, and Pashupati, and the one who rides on the white bull, and the one who resides in Mount Kailash. These and much more are waiting for you in the storehouse of time, and that time is beyond everyone's reach. So said Vyasa, do your duty and continue with your rule and role as the Samrat. Swasti to you, O King of Kings. Having said this much, that great seer and the time traveller Ved Vyasa bid them farewell and proceeded towards the Kailas mountain. After his departure, addressing his brothers, Yudhishtira said, O my brothers, you have all listened to what the great Rishi has said. I shall be responsible for the destruction of all Kshatriyas. In that case, instead of all Kshatriyas, I alone need to die so that no harm will befall on others. Arjun said, O king, you never deviate from the path of dharma. Still, if you will cause destruction of the Kshatriyas, that will not be a result of your mistake. Moreover, if it were something to be avoided, then the great Rishi would have advised us and guided us. Veda Vyasa, our grandfather, also said that finally everything will come to an auspicious ending, and so he asked you to do your duties and to go ahead. So, O king, do not give way to wrong thoughts and depression. Instead, you may convert your time to your advantage with positive mindset and resolutions. Yudhisthira remembered the scriptures which said that to bring in changes in one's own life and destiny, the changes should start from within ourselves. Thereafter, thinking for a while, Yudhisthira said, starting now, I shall practice virtue in its fullness and totality. Anger, hatred, jealousy, and other such traits will not have a place in my mind, body, or intellect. I shall not differentiate between my own children and others in this world. Disagreement is the cause of war, and war is the cause of destruction. So, I shall live and rule in peace and harmony without disagreements. Future is defined and decided by the past and the present. So, I shall put in all efforts to make each and every second of my life pure and fruitful. Meanwhile, after Rajasuya was over, Duryodhan and Shakuni spent their days at Indraprastha in a kind of luxury which they had never seen or experienced before. Then, with a desire to see that palace in and out in all its magnificence, Duryodhan started on a trip along with his uncle Shakuni. They walked around that enormously large mansion which Mayasura had built like a world of endless illusions and fantasies. The doors, windows, floor, walls, furniture and decorations were all like a dream to Duryodhan, as Mayasura had not used any materials which were obtained from this Martyalok. In short, it was a world of architectural wonders and celestial extravaganza. While walking around that palace of hidden surprises, one day Duryodhan mistook a crystal floor for a pool of water, and then he drew up his clothes to avoid them from getting wet. Later, when he realized his royal blunder, Duryodhan was very much embarrassed, and thereafter he was more careful and vigilant. Another day, they couldn't recognize a real pond with lotus flowers and mistook it for normal floor, and then fell into that water and got himself drenched. Seeing this, the Pandava brothers, except Yudhishtira, along with the attendants, laughed aloud in spite of the fact that Duryodhan was not accustomed to such humiliations. Meanwhile, in no time, the attendants brought fresh and dry clothes for Duryodhan. Still, his mind was burning with shame and embarrassment. But Duryodhan's difficulties were not yet over, as he mistook a closed door as open and hit his head against the door. Thereafter, there was that door which was really open, but thinking that it is another trick, Duryodhan stood there trying to open it. Finally, angry with himself and others, Duryodhan discontinued his visit to the rest of that mansion, and unable to take it anymore, he took leave of the Pandavas and left for Hastinapur. On his way back, Duryodhan remained totally silent even though Shakuni was talking to him off and on. Finally, when Shakuni asked him repeatedly about what is in his mind which made him depressed and silent, Duryodhan replied like this: "Oh uncle, you also have witnessed the Rajasuya Mahayajna and the unmatched power and prosperity of the Pandavas. None other than the Pandavas will be able to perform a yajna of such magnitude and auspiciousness. Now that Yudhishtira has been elevated to the level of a Samrat, he will be respected even by the Devas and Devendra. All these have made me so jealous that I am burning like a pond which is dried up in summer during the months of Jyeshta and Ashada. And you saw how Shishupala, that mighty king of Chedi, was slain by Krishna. Nobody spoke a word about that offense against Shishupala. Why? Because they are all afraid of those Pandavas and Krishna. And do you know how much wealth they have received as tributes? The duty of receiving gold and other valuables was assigned to me. No king has brought anything less than 1,000 gold coins. All receipts taken together, it is more than anyone can count. Who in this world can live seeing the unmatched success and prosperity of his enemies? Several times in the past, I had tried my best to finish them off, but every time they emerged successful, just like the lotus flower which is always on the top of the water. The Pandavas have powerful allies to support them. I have the will to fight and win, but like the Pandavas, I do not have allies to support me to achieve such royal success and prosperity. Now, I am convinced of one thing: God and destiny are superior to everything. Our efforts do not have much value. Oh, uncle, I am frustrated beyond all limits. And along with that, the feeling of jealousy is killing me every second. It is better to kill myself rather than dying like this forever. I shall drink poison or jump into fire or into deep waters, and then I shall end my life." After Duryodhan had concluded, Shakuni spoke at length to revive Duryodhan's spirit and then said like this: "O Duryodhan, what the Pandavas have gained is the result of their good luck and fortune. What is your fault in that? Why do you blame yourself for whatever is not the result of your own actions? You said you do not have allies. This is not true. You have Bhishma and Drona on your side. Kripacharya is there with you. Karna is on your side. Ashwatthama is your best friend. Each of them are single-handedly capable of conquering this world. But do not underestimate the might of the Pandavas. Pandavas are such great warriors that they are invincible without any support or allies. And with Vasudeva Krishna on their side, in all three worlds, no one can win over them. But my dear Duryodhan, still there is a way, which is without war. Yes, without fighting a war, we can defeat them." Now, Duryodhan was thrilled, and regaining his lost vigor and strength, he said, "Oh uncle, if it is possible to defeat them without a war, then tell me about it. Then Indraprastha and all their wealth will be mine. All the kings and kingdoms under them now will come under our control, and then they will start paying tributes to us." "Oh uncle, you said without a war, without any support from others, we can defeat them. All that I want is that only. I don't need anything more than that. Whatever it be, we will do that. Tell me, uncle, what strategy do you have in your mind?" Shakuni said, "Listen to me, O Duryodhan. That King Yudhishtira is very fond of the game of dice. Even though he is not even an average player, if invited or challenged, he will not refuse to play. Now about me, there is no one in all three worlds who is even equal to me in this game. All you need to do is to invite Yudhishtira to play dice. I shall win from him his kingdom and all his wealth. This is my word. Now you go to your father and tell him everything and get his permission. Duryodhan was very happy, but told Shakuni that he cannot present this matter in front of his father and asked Shakuni to do it for him. Thereafter, waiting for an appropriate opportunity, Shakuni approached King Dhritarashtra and spoke like this: O king, Duryodhan has grown weak and pale. He doesn't take food on time and lives in depression without any interest in anything. Why is it that you are not aware of your eldest son's pathetic condition? It is high time for you to have a talk with Duryodhan. Without waste of time, Dhritarashtra approached his son and inquired about his well-being. Then Dhritarashtra elaborated his love and affection for his son and also about all the royal luxuries and facilities at Duryodhan's disposal to make his life as much enjoyable as possible. Thereafter, Dhritarashtra asked him why he has turned pale and depressed when he should be living and enjoying his life like the celestials. Now Duryodhan started describing to his father about the abundance of wealth, pomp and glory that he witnessed at Indraprastha. As he was in charge of receiving gold and other valuables from the visiting kings, Duryodhan told his father that in his whole life he had not seen even a small portion of gold and other valuables which he saw there in a few days. Duryodhan said that they are nothing in front of the power and wealth of the Pandavas. Yudhishtira has 88,000 Snatakas with their families who have been provided with luxurious houses, and each of them have been given 30 attendants and maids, and that king provides daily food to these 88,000 families. Beyond that, every day 10,000 Brahmins eat from golden plates sitting with him at his palace. During the Rajasuya, there was an endless line of kings and monarchs waiting for entry into the palace. Those who were waiting outside the palace were carrying with them more than 3,000 crore gold coins. O king, I saw this with my own eyes, and from that day I am shivering with fever. And that fever has been caused by uncontrollable jealousy, and now I am dying with that fever. When I saw Vasudeva Krishna pouring water collected from the 7 oceans, stored in 1,000 golden pots, using a celestial conch shell, my fever and shivering increased. Because even gods will not have the fortune of being worshipped with such magnanimity and respect. That too, in front of all the kings and monarchs and also great Ritviks, scholars and priests, starting with Rishi Vyasa and Devarshi Narada. How will I bear to see such prosperity of my enemy? I will never be able to forget about the wealth at their command and the power they are exercising. And those memories will kill me, no doubt about that. I do not wish to die slowly like that. Instead, I shall find a fast and suitable way to kill myself instantly. Like this, when Duryodhan was talking to his father, at a right time, Shakuni came in and addressed Dhritarashtra like this: O king, there is a way to bring the wealth, prosperity and power of the Pandavas into our hands. All we need to do is to get Yudhishtira to play a game of dice with me. In the game of dice, nobody can defeat me. I can play dice in the right and wrong manner so that success will always be on my side. Yudhisthira is very fond of dice, but his knowledge and skill is very poor. Give me a chance to face him on your behalf, and all his wealth and good fortunes will be yours, I promise. When Shakuni stopped, Duryodhan took over and concluded his speech like this: O father, Shakuni is determined to defeat Yudhishtira and take over all his wealth for us. All you need to do is to give him the permission to do it. Listening to the dubious scheme of Duryodhan and Shakuni, King Dhritarashtra was very happy because that was exactly what he also had in his mind. But without showing any signs of his true feelings, Dhritarashtra said that he doesn't take any decisions without consulting his prime minister and co-brother Vidura. Thereupon, Duryodhan continued with his emotional blackmailing and said that Vidura will never give approval to this scheme. And if Dhritarashtra doesn't give permission, Duryodhan said that he will kill himself. And then said Duryodhan, you may rule over this whole world along with Vidura. Even though Dhritarashtra wanted the game of dice to take place and then to acquire all wealth from Yudhishtira, he tried to stop his son and Shakuni from going for this disastrous game of dice. Dhritarashtra reminded them time and again that this game is considered to be sinful and will always give rise to disputes and disagreements. Finally, the discussion came to a stage when Duryodhan's tone and words were harsh and aggressive, and it appeared like he was superseding Dhritarashtra and said that the game of dice will take place. Thereupon, to pacify his son, Dhritarashtra immediately ordered to build a very luxurious new palace with a magnificent assembly hall which will have 100 doors and 1,000 pillars, and gold, precious stones and crystals will be used in abundance. Thereafter, Dhritarashtra summoned Vidura and discussed with him about the game of dice. Vidura, with his clear thinking and futuristic vision, told Dhritarashtra that he is against the game of dice. Vidura reminded earlier predictions like Duryodhan will be the cause of total destruction of the Kauravas. Vidura also told Dhritarashtra about the probable outcome of dice among kings, which is disagreement leading to enmity and war. After his discussion with Vidura, Dhritarashtra once again tried to convince Duryodhan, saying that Vidura is always right as his words of wisdom have always proved to be true and correct after a period of time. Dear viewers, in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata, the discussion between Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra runs into 8 long chapters. Even after that also, Duryodhan was not willing to listen to his father. In the past also, he had tried to finish off Bhim by poisoning him and then by drowning him in the waters of the Ganga river. Thereafter, he tried to kill all the Pandavas by burning them to death in the house of lacquer. Now, putting faith in Shakuni, he was determined to snatch away the kingdom and all the wealth of the Pandavas. Now, the work of the new palace and assembly hall was completed very fast, and then Dhritarashtra summoned Vidura and talked to him like this: O Vidura, whether it be auspicious or inauspicious, beneficial or destructive, let us go ahead with the friendly game of dice. It will be held in my own presence, and Bhishma, Drona, and you, Vidura, also will be there. We won't allow anything to go wrong, even if it is bound to be there in the destiny. So, Vidura, right now you go to Indraprastha and bring Yudhishtira to Hastinapur for a friendly game of dice. Realizing that this is the starting of the total destruction of the Kuru race and that no words can stop it or save it, Vidura remained silent and then started his trip to Indraprastha. Dear viewers, here ends this chapter of our summarized version of Rishi Vyasa's timeless epic Mahabharata. Harihi Om.